Welcome to the Eat Your Content podcast. I'm your host, Rich Herrera. Thank you for pushing play on my little pod. I appreciate that. Just a reminder to follow me on socials at Rich Herrera and at Eat Your Content, wherever you find yourself on social medias, and make sure you hit like and subscribe on your podcast player of choice or YouTube so you know when things are coming up and new episodes drop. For my guest today, you may have read the title about the future of restaurants, maybe Googled my next guest name, and you're wondering, how does AI and robotics fit into food and pop culture? If you're a regular listener on my podcast, I talk about movies, I talk about TV shows, but I don't talk a lot about robots. But reading his profile, my next guest profile, really intrigued me, and I really wanted to get him on my show, and I'm really glad he took the time. CEO of Appetronix, Nipun Sharma. Thank you so much for being on the pod. I appreciate you coming on.
It's a pleasure to be on, Rich. Looking forward to this conversation with you.
Yeah. So first question, when is the T-800 Terminator robot going to start making my burger? How far away are we from that?
Oh, we're already there. And I think many companies have tried some pretty interesting things in robotics and AI. We took a slightly different approach. I think the first generation of food robotic companies were trying to automate a portion of the kitchen. I mean, dispense some sauce or flip a burger. And we took the approach of we don't need to optimize human kitchens. Let's reimagine the entire kitchen, pushing the boundaries of robotics and automation and AI, and go on first principles. Here's the raw materials. Here's what the end product needs to look like. Now let's test the boundaries without the constraints of how a human hand moves and all that kind of stuff. So we've taken a more generalized approach in using automation and robotics. We didn't try to create a humanoid version going inside your kitchen and cooking for you. That's not what we do. That's probably a bit further along than most people would like it to be, but that's the other possibility.
Yeah. So let's jump back in time a little bit for those that are tuning in going, what in the heck is he talking about? I kind of want to get your origin story a little bit. You made the news recently for opening the first completely automated quote unquote restaurant in the John Glenn Airport in Columbus, Ohio, for Donato's Pizza. It makes a pizza from beginning to end using absolutely no humans. So at what point in your life did you look at a pizza and go, you know what? I think I want a robot to make that. So I'm sure you didn't. I don't know. Maybe did you grow up and go, I really want to automate food? Like what was the turning point for you in your life to get there?
So, I've been in the restaurant industry for like 17, 18 years. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been a public company COO. I've expanded all kinds of restaurant brands all over the world. And I would say for the later half of my career, I try to look at how do I make kitchens more efficient? How do I make onboarding easier for employees? How do I make gourmet food without having the talents of a chef? How do I use the best equipment out there? How do I minimize staff? How do I minimize wastage? That became sort of my modus operandi for many years. But at one point, you hit kind of a wall. You do need humans. And in many countries all over the world, I've shut down restaurants simply because we didn't have enough staff. And the demand is there. A lot of people don't want this job anymore. It's a generational thing, right? I think when I was a kid, everybody's first job used to be at McDonald's. Now that same kid wants to start Facebook instead. There are people on a certain socioeconomic level that they work in fast food restaurants. Well, I'd rather sit in an Uber air conditioned and drive that around and make more money than sit in front of a fryer in the middle of the summer. So there's a generational shift away from this job, especially in quick service fast food restaurants. And we've been struggling to staff them. And I think COVID accelerated the inevitable where everybody understood that this is a problem. There's hundreds of thousands of unfilled jobs in the restaurant industry in the US today. Many places operate at fewer hours. Many hospitals don't have 24/7 restaurants anymore. You've been to airports, I'm sure everything's shut down at 7:30 p.m. because we don't have staff. So not only staff is unavailable increasingly in many places, it's also very expensive, right? I'm all for high minimum wages, minimum standard of living, but the fast food restaurant is not where you get that because there isn't enough in margins, right? The other thing you've seen, I think the biggest thing that's happened in the food business the last 50 years has been delivery, right? Before delivery it was confined to pizza places or the Chinese restaurant, the average restaurant, it was unthinkable because it's unaffordable. I mean, you have companies like Uber Eats charging restaurants 20 to 30%. Restaurants, it's a difficult thing to absorb in costs. So yes, you're seeing your delivery sales going up, but it's coming at a much thinner margin. So something's got to give, right? And so my initial being in the industry, I looked at all the food robotic companies that raise tons of money, and I'm like, hey man, sell me your robots. I want less gray hair. Because I get it, automation is this industry is ripe for it. The sales are going up, costs are going up even faster. There's a disconnect between supply and demand. Automation is logical, AI is logical. This is the first industry to impact. But many companies I met, they were really focusing on minute tasks inside an existing kitchen, like flipping a burger, moving a fry basket, or dispensing a couple of ingredients. I'm like, well, that's kind of cute to look at, but am I really saving money here? What are the unit economics? It's not. I'm not really saving labor. I'm adding a new cost. I don't have any room in my kitchen to begin with. Now I'm putting a new gizmo inside. It wasn't making sense to me. So I realized, to your earlier point, are we there yet? And my answer was no, we're not. And this is, I'm talking about 4 or 5 years ago. I had some ideas in my head what the next generation kitchen needs to look at, but I'm not an engineer. But I do design kitchens for a living, and I've done almost every food type you can think of: Asian, Indian, Mexican, steakhouses, you name it, I've done it. And I've seen the best practices in all these kitchens, so I can extrapolate what a next gen kitchen may look like. I met my co-founder around this time, and I'm like, listen, I have this, envelope, napkin sort of idea of what a kitchen should look like, and automate it completely from beginning to end, reimagine the entire back of the house. Do you think it's doable? And my co-founder said, my co-founder spent 30 years building robotic factories, so he knew what he was talking about. He goes, yeah, man, what I do for a living is tough. I don't think this is that hard. I'm like, really? And that sort of started our journey. It was an internal exercise. I'm like, our first cuisine that we automated was Asian food. Think about pad thai noodles and rice and curry dishes. In my experience, across all cuisine types, my opinion is that's the hardest to automate because you have so many kinds of ingredients. Think about sloppy noodles. You have flat snow peas, you have chunks of broccoli. How do you measure all these things accurately? Broccoli, by the way, was the hardest. And if we can measure all these things, how do you cook it? How do you follow food safety protocols in cleaning and heating and storage? And when we went down this rabbit hole, we realized, man, maybe if this can solve my problem, it can solve everybody's problem. Let's start a company.
Wow. So let's talk specifically about this robot pizza restaurant in the airport. From the cocktail napkin diagram to the ribbon cutting at the airport, what was that timeline? How long did that take? And how many versions of it did you go through before you finally landed on the one that's in there now?
So, we spent about 2.5 years building the Asian noodle bowl robot. And like I said, that was the most complex thing, in my opinion, to automate. So when we did that, and by the way, our very strong principle is we don't sell robots, we don't sell machines, we sell food, and we sell the best food you've ever had. And that's key to us. So anybody who came and saw my robot, they were fascinated by the automation, but when they tried the food, they forgot about the robot. Like, hey man, this is the best pad I've ever had. I'm like, yeah. So we came across Donato's Pizza. To your question, the total time it took us from the day we said, okay, let's start building it, to the day that we did the ribbon cutting was about a year and a half, which is quite fast.
That's quick. Yeah.
That's quick, and we did it with very little capital too, because we were a tech startup. We had to be creative, and I love the story about Donato's. Donato's used to be owned by McDonald's. McDonald's had bought the number one brands in many categories in the late 90s. They bought Chipotle, they bought Donato's Pizza, Pret a Manger, what have you. They considered Donato's to be the best tasting pizza chain in the US. So, not my opinion, that's the executives at McDonald's and their research departments. And Fast forward many years, Chipotle went public, second most valuable restaurant brand in the world, worth 80, $90 billion. And the Grody family bought back Donato's, and they continue running it as a private firm. This family, the values of the family, the quality of the food, this was a very great opportunity for us to say, hey, when we sell pizza, it has to be the best goddamn pizza in the world. And Donato's fit that mold. And this is not just my opinion, this is a stated fact. So I'm like, how about, and we had to convince the family that they can trust us with their brand. I'm like, I'd like to open the fully autonomous Donato's robotic restaurant in your hometown, in your airport. And the airport has a lot of significance for us. The airport was invented in Ohio in 1905. The Wright brothers are from Ohio. There's a plaque next to my machine honoring all these things. And the airport is named after John, who was the first person to go on a spaceship around the planet. There was so much history, be it in aviation. This is the hometown of Donato's. I'm confident I can sell your loyal customers their favorite pizza in the best possible way. And if we can do that, we have something, because that's a challenge we're ready to take on. We're selling the best pizza. We're selling it to your loyal fans. They will not accept anything less than the best. So that was a big, big challenge, and we love taking big challenges. And we got a lot of collaboration and a lot of support from the Donato's family. And then we finally launched on June 9th. We opened the doors, and this became, I think, the world's first fully autonomous restaurant that makes made-to-order pizzas from scratch. The reaction from the founder, Jim Grody, because he'd seen the videos, he hadn't been to our office. We're based in Canada, in London, Ontario. The rest of the team had spent a lot of time with us, but Jim had never personally tasted the pizza coming out from the robot. That was a big test. It made me nervous. And Jim's reaction was, "Holy cow, this is our pizza and it's perfect." I'm like, "Yes."
So I would love to hear the bloopers behind the making of. So, nothing is ever perfect on day one. So there had to have been, when you were testing this thing out, like the dough came out weird, or the sauce robot like completely sprayed the walls, or or there was like 500 pepperoni slices on a pizza when there should only been 50. Like, what are some of the fun stories behind the scenes as you were perfecting this thing, of like Tony Stark slash, when he was perfecting his Iron Man suit, and his robot kept like messing up on him.
I know what you're talking about, Rich. We had no issues at all.
Right.
It was perfect from the get-go.
Perfect from day one.
So we, of course, we had issues, and remember, the issues come from human beings. Humans do need to load the machine when it prompts you to do so. If you don't load the sauce section properly, if you forget to put the cutting board after you clean it, so the machine goes through a cleaning cycle. A lot of the stuff is taken out, put into dishwashers, and new things coming in. So every time there's a reload, every time there's a cleanup, there's a chance somebody might knock something over. So human error is our biggest enemy. But thankfully, the people that run the machine are really well trained on it. But we have a lot of fail safes, by the way. If something does go wrong, and to your earlier point, and we couldn't have done this like maybe 6, 7 years ago, we have a lot of AI monitoring the machine. If something does go wrong, it will pause the machine. If it's a big enough problem, it will send an alert saying, "Hey, something is an issue. I'm going to pause until you come and fix it." We have cameras that monitor different things. If Donato's 10-inch pizza has about 52, 53 slices of pepperoni evenly distributed to the edge. If there's only 50 slices of pepperoni and there's a little gap in the middle, it will discard that pizza. If there's too much sauce, if there's too much cheese, it could happen. We're pretty good at accurately measuring things, but things could happen. If it does, we catch it and we discard it. So there's enough, and this is all AI, by the way. AI is doing two things for us. It's monitoring the cooking process. If something is not to code, it's not the right temperature, it's not the right weight, it's not the right distribution, it's been scanning thousands of pizzas, learning what is a perfect Donato's pizza. And if it doesn't fit all that criteria, it will reject it. And the other thing we use AI for is predictive maintenance of the machine. We know the cutting of the pizza after 2,000 cuts, the blade needs to be sharpened or replaced. Let's get the best downtime to make that replacement. Let's make sure a technician is available, and let's make sure the inventory is available to take care of it. So the machine kind of manages itself in both maintenance and inventory management. And if you get really, really more advanced using AI, we're in an airport. We know X number of flights have landed at 10 p.m. We know the demographics, let's say, of who's going to be walking in front of our machine at some point. Maybe 20% of those people will probably order a pepperoni pizza. Let's start making it now. Get really efficient in managing its sales, managing the input, and working in the environment of whatever real estate we're in a hospital, in an airport, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, we can have issues, but we catch them. We catch them before they can damage the machine. We catch them before somebody gets a bad pizza.
Yeah. So walk me through, give me kind of like the 1 minute, 2 minute, beginning to end of how this, I'm not from Ohio, so I can't see it work. So walk me through the beginning to end of, from when somebody walks up, I'm assuming pushes a screen, they want a pizza, to where their pizza is hot and fresh at the other end. Walk me through that process.
Right. So, people get to customize the pizza, choose what they want. I want a pepperoni, I want double cheese, what have you. Once you place your order, and that's either on your QR code by your phone or by the iPad that's stuck on the machine, the way you would order pretty much in any restaurant, right? So the ordering process is nothing new. It's a standard POS system. The moment that happens, it starts communicating with the robot on the inside. First is it gets the dough. The dough is par baked, and it picks up the dough, the whatever size of pizza that you've ordered. And we follow the protocols of a typical Donato's pizza. So let's say it's a pepperoni pizza. At first station, the right amount of sauce is dispensed. Donato's calls their pizzas edge to edge because the pepperoni, the sauce, the cheese goes right to the edge of the pizza. So there is no crust lining out there. So first part, the right amount of sauce is poured. That's the Donato's proprietary sauce. Then the right amount of cheese is dispensed, not just by weight, but by distribution as well. And the pepperoni is sliced real time. Again, it's 52 to 53 slices of pepperoni going all the way to the edge. So that is placed on the pizza. And something we called a Romano shaker is basically cheese and oregano that's shaken on top of the pizza. Again, as per Donato's recipe. Then it goes into a specialized conveyor oven, which is a controlled cavity heating system. Takes about 2 minutes and 10 seconds to bake the perfect pizza to Donato spec. When that finishes up, the robot picks it up and takes it to the cutting station. What Donatus calls is a party cut. They basically cut them into rectangle pieces as opposed to big triangle typical pizza pieces. That's Donato's signature cut. It's called the party cut. It cuts it to the specs. Then it takes the pizza, puts it into a box. And then it takes the box, puts it into a locker system. And you, as the customer, get a notification that your pizza is ready. Here's the QR code for locker number 4. And then you go pick up your pizza. And there's a condiment station if you want to put some spices, grab a napkin, and you're on your way. The
Wow.
whole thing from beginning to end takes a little under 5 minutes today, but a new pizza comes out every 2 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. So is the only options because it is self-contained and you can only tell the robots to do certain things. Is it
Right.
just pepperoni? Like or can I order like a supreme and is it handling all the different toppings?
So in the first pizza, I think we were asked to focus on cheese pizza and pepperoni pizza because they are
Okay.
by far the biggest sellers, especially in an airport environment. We can do every ingredient, and I wanted to do, but I was told, "Hey, listen, let's do this. This is basically our biggest sellers. Let's get these out, and we can add ingredients depending on customer feedback." We are fully capable of putting pretty much every single thing on Donato's menu. I'm looking forward to the day that we can add more ingredients. But right now, people are extremely happy with this. It's a simpler machine for us to manage, fewer ingredients to manage, but we are fully capable of having the supreme with 25 ingredients. And that's how I like my pizzas anyway.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, how has been the public reaction been to this? Do they get to see their pizza? Is it like an open air kitchen, so to speak? They can see the pizza being made by the robots from beginning to end, or is it all kind of closed off? Do people think it's like if they can see it, do they think it's cool? Like what's the general reaction?
So, when we were doing our testing and we were building it in our office, there were no walls, so you could just walk inside and see. And I was very adamant that we're selling pizzas. We're not selling machines. I want people to focus on the goddamn pizza. And everybody is, come on, Nipun, these robots look so cool. We gotta look at them. So I relented. We have 2 windows. You can actually see inside now. And I was wrong. I think it was important to put that because it's a fascinating thing to see. So the first reaction, people just went bananas looking at the full automation, the robots, and everything else cooking the pizza. They couldn't believe it. So it was all about selfies, and people are just awed by the windows. People are stuck on the windows, like best entertainment you've ever had. And my team is always there, to make sure that we're looking at the machine's performance, talking to customers. And I think my favorite moment was that I think about a month after we launched, and typically everybody's fascinated. This is a big deal. I saw this woman about in her 20s with her earphones. She was just walking with her backpack, not even looking at the machine. She just ordered the pizza while she's talking on her phone. And when the pizza comes out, she just takes it and walks away. And my first reaction was, hey, how come you're not impressed? This is the world's first fully autonomous. Why aren't you fully awed by this amazing machine? But I realized you think this is normal. This is the way the world should be. What the hell took so long? And this was nothing fascinating for her. And that nonchalance was actually a big compliment because, yeah, we're there. What's the big deal, man?
Yeah.
This should have been the 20 years ago. Where are my flying cars? So,
That's right. I was promised flying cars. Where are they? So, from when you launched this autonomous pizza Donato's through today, what's the throughput so far? What do you consider a good day at the airport for pizzas being made?
the machine is a 24/7 operation, right? So a lot of the airport restaurants, no, the entire airport is pretty much shut down for concessions around 7:30 p.m. But we did realize that there's a lot of people working 24 hours, and they were so happy to have a hot food, custom made, not only hot food, but Donato's hot food. What surprised us was the number of pizzas we sell at 3 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. And because when you're on a 24 schedule, different schedules for eating food, you don't have to get the sandwich sitting in the vending machine anymore. And we are outside of security. We wanted the first machine to be accessible. We have a lot of media, a lot of my investors, a lot of people coming by. And this allows us to capture a big percentage of the airport employees. I think the biggest compliment we received from a lot of airport employees is, hey, we have 20 minutes for lunch. When I go to lunch, I stand in line at the sandwich place, and 20 minutes have gone by the time I get to the end of the line. Here, I order it before I leave. By the time I get to the machine, my pizza's ready. I still have 15 minutes left in my lunch break, so this is a godsend. So for us, I think the metrics that mattered was A, is this the Donato's pizza? Is this a great Donato's pizza? And that was check, check, check. Is it coming out in a timely fashion? Is the machine available when you want it to be? And how are people interacting with it? Is it a strange experience ordering things from a machine, or is it exactly the same experience? The feedback we got was this has been, I don't want to make anybody upset by my next statement. This is better than a human kitchen because my machine doesn't make a mistake. If it does, it rejects it. There's not going to be extra sauce, slightly less cheese. The distribution is not going to be a bit weird. It will be perfect every single time. And the odd chance it's not, we will reject that pizza. So you will every single time get the best pizza. I think people noticed that, and that was overwhelming response. This is my favorite pizza, and it's error free.
Wow. What's the highest number of pizzas in a day so far? That off the top of your head, if you can think of one.
I think about a couple hundred.
Couple hundred for
Yeah,
a day. That's not bad. I mean,
that's not bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So,
Remember, we're outside the terminal. I think our numbers
okay.
would have been double or triple if you're inside after security.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
But
So
we
you
wanted the first
mentioned,
one to be more accessible for maintenance, for media, for investors to come anytime they want. They don't have to go inside, buy a ticket to see the machine.
oh yeah, that's right. So you mentioned, not wanting to make people upset by saying that the machines are perfect. How do you react to those that say, dude, you're taking the robots are taking over
Yeah,
my job. Like, almost every facet of working America at some point can be done either through AI or robotics. So
yeah,
you look at your machine there sitting at the airport that, could have been a stall or a cubicle or not a cubicle, but, a food stall there that could have employed 3, 4 people
sure.
and can, maybe put out the same product. So how do you react to those that are saying you're taking jobs away from people by doing this?
That day might come, but it's not going to come for the foreseeable future. What we're doing is we're filling a massive void. I think the number is like there's 400,000 unfilled jobs in the hospitality industry today.
Mhm.
That's why many restaurants are closing early or just shutting down or not expanding because we're finding it very difficult to find employees and certainly never for 24/7 service. So I think for the foreseeable future, we're filling that void. We're not necessarily like Donato's Pizza, for example. They have a Donato's Pizza at Terminal A and Terminal C. There's none in Terminal B. So we didn't take anything away, and we put it into a part of the airport where there was nothing before. This is like a giant vending machine, right? So it's not in
Mhm.
the food court. It doesn't require special access. So we made a part of the airport revenue generating. We made it accessible for everybody 24/7. So yes, I think there should be some concern 10, 20 years from now. Are we taking jobs? Maybe. But for the foreseeable future, I think we just have a massive void to fill, and that'll take a long time for us to fill. And this void, by the way, it's worldwide. It's in India with 1.4 billion people. Restaurants can't find employees. So it's one of those things I think that's moving away. I think there's better jobs for people to have. So for our machines, for example, the people that maintain them, and they don't have to be engineers, by the way. We train regular folks on how to, adjust certain parts of the machine, do day-to-day maintenance. It's a very dignified job. It's a much higher paying job. So we're actually creating a different class of job that didn't exist before. People getting paid probably 2 or 3 times they would have just earning minimum wage. It's a more dignified job. So we made a person that would need to hire many people at 2 a.m. completely out of luck. Now you can have 10 of these machines to manage instead. So we're filling a void. For the foreseeable future, we're filling a void. We're very far away from being a place where, hey, I'm going to take that restaurant, fire all the employees, and put robots inside. We're not there yet.
Yeah. So could the argument be made then, instead of hiring 3 people to man a restaurant at minimum wage, you hire those same 3 people to manage and upkeep the machines at a higher rate of pay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing right now. And these 3 people could probably manage 5 of these machines, right?
Yeah. So you got your first one successfully launched in the airport. What other locations do you think this type of Donato's automated pizza thing could be? Where do you foresee that being placed in besides airports?
So, the operator at the airport is HMS Host. HMS Host is one of the largest airport concessionaires in the world. And there's companies like Compass, Sodexo, Aramark. They have hundreds of thousands of universities, hospitals, office towers. So these buildings with a captive audience and these food facilities management companies already manage the Starbucks, the McDonald's, the cafeteria. They already have hundreds of employees in the building. So our business model is, hey, how about I give you another restaurant in a box solution? I need about 4 hours of one of your 100 employees to maintain the machine, fill the broccoli, what have you. And all of a sudden, you have another revenue generating 24/7 solution for your clients, for example, the airport employees at 3 a.m. So it's a big win for HMS sales. It's a big win for airport to get their employees and the customers another access point. So this allows us to focus on what we do is manage the hardware and the software. And the broccoli, the supply chain, well, Compass HMS, so this is what you do. So continue doing what you're doing. And for Donato's, it's your brand, it's your recipes, it's your marketing. You do what you do. And all of us do this together, focusing on our core expertise. But when we got the publicity, I think, I'm not sure the exact number, but I believe we had 700 million clicks of this launch in the first 2 weeks. So a pretty
Wow.
insane amount of advertising. And that opened up a few more doors that I didn't think much about. So I was focusing on hospitals, universities, airports, office towers. All of a sudden, things like theme parks became interesting. Hey, what about the charging stations at Tesla? Hey, what about the malls? What about the Walmarts? So there's endless possibilities. Gas stations, they're trying to change their business model. It's going to be all electric. What do we do with my convenience store? Add a restaurant to it. Big retail stores have done restaurants. Anywhere where there's a captive audience of people. We love the fact that charging stations, people have to spend a long time in busy charging stations, and typically they're in remote areas with no food to get. We need electricity to run these machines. So charging stations are a very, very good fit for us. So there's a lot of different places, a lot of different countries. It's a pretty massive market, and so I think we have our hands full for the next 30, 40 years in
Yeah,
terms of
you
how do you
guys
wrap.
would. Yeah, you guys would make a killing in universities. Oh my gosh, just thinking about the clientele that's there. I mean,
Yes.
you would make a killing at universities. So that's
Starting at 3
definitely
o'clock in the morning on a fresh pizza, no problem.
no kidding, man. After a kegger and
That too.
some select herbs, there's a killing there. So killing to be made at the universities. So you talked about automating Asian and Mexican foods next, and
Yes.
kind of making that the next automated restaurants. That's a little bit different from pizza. So what dishes do well automated, and which ones kind of fight back on the automation a little bit?
So uh, everything that's bowl related, we can currently do. And as I mentioned, when we did the Asian concept, it was more of a test. If we can automate Asian, we can automate anything. So to give you an idea how the Asian machine works is when you place an order for, let's say, for a pad thai, and you can say, I want extra broccoli, and there's 16 ingredient silos to choose from. I want extra chicken. I don't want any broccoli. Put me some extra snow peas. You can hyper customize your order. This is the first machine we built, by the way. And the way it works at this machine is once you place your order, there's a carrying bowl that moves around the machine to collect all the ingredients. So immediately all the ingredients in one shot are dispensed in this bowl. Depending on rice and noodle, that's dispensed. And then in that steel bowl goes through a steam tunnel to heat up all the food because the first part was refrigerated. And when it's done, it drops everything into this kind of a rotating wok system that we have. In that, the different sauces or raw eggs, all these things are put in. So it tosses and turns, puts it into a bowl, and when it's done, it looks like a pad thai from your favorite restaurant. It's perfectly made, and it goes into the locker system, just like the pizza system. So any kind of a noodle, any kind of a rice-based dish, everything is this is all wok-based. So the primary change between the two machines is how do we heat up the food? One is baked, one is wok tossed. Next up, in a Mexican bowl, the big change would be that after the cold section is heated, it needs to go to another cold section for the sauce, for the salsa, for the guacamole. And how is that chicken? How is that pork? How is that beef? How is that heated? That'll be a different mechanism to heat it, but the end result will be the same. So a lot of similarities in all these bowl-based concept. Think of like a Chipotle. I want this, and you're done. So we kind of follow that format, but we do freshly cook things, and that's different between microwaving something or eating a frozen pizza or dinner. It's not a restaurant grade product. So what you get from us is a freshly cooked, made to order meal, sizzling that tastes exactly like you would get from a restaurant, and that was important to us. So no shortcuts here. It's a full cooking experience. So we figured out the first two. We've started just recently the journey to figure out the burrito bowls. We're hoping by Q3, Q4, you're going to see the first automated Mexican concept. Around the same time, we're going to have version 2 of the Asian bowl coming out, and we'll have many versions of the pizza robot coming out every few months.
Wow. So burrito bowls, probably pretty easy to automate. Wrapping a burrito, which requires a lot of dexterity, maybe not.
No, it is doable, by the way. We have access to a technology that does it. And it's much easier for us to do both at this stage. And will we do that at one point? Absolutely. In the very near future, probably not. There's enough business to be made with the bowls, and this is having good investors, good advisors. So like Nipun focus on making each machine smaller, faster, better, higher capacity. Just do that. Don't worry about adding things that are good to have. Let's make these machines. So right now, a machine is quite big, for example. As we get into version 2 and 3, the machine is going to get much smaller. It'll be modular, so it can come through regular doors and get quick connected on the inside. The capacity will go higher. Right now, it takes us about 8 seconds to apply sauce to the pizza. The new model we've developed will take it down to about 2.5 seconds. So there's all these little improvements we can make, and I'd rather focus our energy for the foreseeable future on making these better. But to your point, it is doable, depending on who our next customer is, who my next investor is. It'll become an earlier priority, but it's not something we're going to do for the first 3 years, I think.
Yeah. So let's think about the future. So if you had to make a call on the future of quick service restaurants like Donato's, like Chipotle, how many of those locations will include some level of full autonomy by say 2030?
Given the market we're targeting with the likes of HMS Host and Compass, I believe there's about 400,000 places we can be in before we start looking into street locations and malls where traditional restaurants are. And we're limited by only how many machines we can make. It takes me about 3 months to make a machine today. If you call me 12 months from now, I'll be making one or two a month. If you call me a year from then, I'm making 50 to 100 a month. So at that scale, we're not limited to just focusing on the US. I think the Middle East is a very important market. Europe is a massive market. Asia is a massive market. We know that we're going to have competition catching up. Somebody with more money will start doing it better. We're in a good position right now to take the lead and maintain our lead and be in multiple countries at the same time. I think the future of quick service is definitely automation, because quick service is about quality and value. Because I'm ordering from Uber, I'm ordering while watching Netflix, I'm ordering while driving, I'm ordering while working. I feel that 2030, 2050, you're going to see that automation will play a much bigger role in quick service. And I think at the same time, the dining out experience will become even more important because when I want to go celebrate, when I want to take my family out, when I want to hang out with my colleagues, I want an experience. I want a good looking restaurant. I need nice music. I need a chef that's been on, Netflix because he's the next big thing. I'm going for an experience. And as we become more isolated as society, working from home and blah, 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 I think the dining out experience will become even more profound. I think you'll have better chefs, more creative, more fusion, better restaurants. So that world, I think, will become infinitely better. I don't think automation will play a big role over there, but for quick service, it'd be foolish for us not to be fully automated for most restaurants the next, maybe not 5 years or 10 years, but in 20 years, absolutely.
Yeah. Are there any things in the quick service restaurants that are going to continue to be stubbornly human in terms of difficult to automate? What are those tasks that you think are going to be take a little longer to automate than making a pizza?
So, the first employee we hired, she was a student, one of my co-founders. He's a professor of robotics, and I think she's on it now. She's on the Guinness Book of World Records for inventing the world's smallest arcade game. So when I was interviewing her, and by the way, these people, these brilliant engineers, they do it because they love what they do. They're not even doing it for the money. When I approached my co-founder, because this sounds like a great project, how much you have to pay you to be a part of it? I'm like, no, no, Ray, I'll pay you. so, this group of really brilliant people that I'm lucky to have as my partners and employees is they love what they do. And when I asked Tori when I was interviewing her, something about we're gonna have sometimes it's a challenge, sometimes it might not work. Because hey, anything is possible. Anything is possible. There's no such thing that cannot be done. And I love that. And we've had that when we were doing the concept, we hit a wall. Is this not possible? Cannot automate this. You require the dexterity of human finger. We cannot do this. We hit a wall. I get nervous. I'm like, so that means that is a company going to go bankrupt now because we cannot solve this very critical problem? And my guys are like, you know what? 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. I have an idea. Let's try it. And my team never gets nervous. I get nervous. They don't. They're like, every problem is solvable. Everything is doable. So to your question, there's nothing that cannot be done. Absolutely not. And I got this confidence because I saw my engineers do miracle things, things that we weren't sure that we could do, and they could pull it off. Not just the task, but how quickly we could do it, how with how little money we could do it. So what we've accomplished, Rich, so far, I can confidently say there's nothing we cannot do.
Wow. So the only limits are engineers' imaginations on
Absolutely.
on automating all these tasks.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, congratulations on all the success on the Donato's Pizza robot restaurant. I can't wait to go up there and check it out. It looks really cool. Nipun, I want to just give you the last few minutes here. Where can people find more about you, your company, where they can see a video of this thing in action?
Yeah, I think our website is getting better. It was a landing page because we weren't really selling directly to customers. We recognize that we're a brand now. My new marketing business development person is starting, I believe, in 2 weeks. We have a lot of videos that are out and a lot of press that we've done. Donato's created some amazing videos. They were all shot. By the way, any video you see of Appetronix has not been created by AI, is not a fictional video. It's actually been shot live. Every single video you ever see on our company is shot live. We don't have the money to have special effects. So we had to just show people what we have. And it's been recorded in many cases by iPhones and our customers. But if you go to appetronix.com, by the way, our name means appetite. And Tronix means robotics. So appetronix.com. You should see more videos there. I haven't checked the website in last week, but lots more information is going to be there. If you go on LinkedIn on our Appetronix page, I'm sure there's videos over there as well. And more importantly, if you're ever flying to Columbus, I strongly recommend Terminal B. And I promise you, you will forget the machine when you take the first bite of the pizza.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Nipun, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Just a reminder, everybody, to make sure you follow me on socials at Richard at Eat Your Content for more fun episodes like this. If you like what we're doing, leave a comment, leave a review. I'd appreciate that. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing the future of robotics and automations in restaurants and seeing where the future takes us.
A real pleasure talking to you, Rich, and thank you for inviting me. This has been lots of fun.